Right then, at the time of recording, it's before the Middlesbrough game. So if there's anything that happened in the Middlesbrough game, ignore it or add it on yourself. But I wanted to do a video talking about what we've learned about Cristiano Ronaldo. It's been, I guess it's not even been 6 months quite yet. But we've seen some different sides of him than I think a lot of us expected. And we have seen some of the stuff that we definitely expected as well. But let's have a look at it then. 5 things that we learned about Cristiano Ronaldo's return. In at number 1 then, good GOAT. And I mean good GOAT. Greatest goal scorer of all time. Period. That's it. He scores big goals in big moments. He can always be relied upon when the chips are down. You can't take him off. You've got to leave him on the pitch because he's always there. His legs might be going. I don't think they've definitely gone yet. But his finishing, his predatory instincts, they definitely haven't. He's 37 years of age and he's probably United's biggest goal threat. Mental. Number 2, winner's mentality. Passion for the game is not waning in the slightest. He is every bit as dedicated, every bit as determined, and every bit as up for it every single day as he was when he joined us almost 20 years ago. He's voiced his displeasure with the drop in standards at the club since he was last here, and I love that. He's got an aura of nothing but winning will do, and silverware is everything, which this club desperately needs. And I love the fact that he's called out his teammates. Sometimes that carries over into sulking, but as ex-players have said, he would run off the pitch and sulk when we won if he didn't think he played well himself. He's not necessarily doing it negatively to everybody else. That's just who he is. And he's the most winningest player that we're ever going to see in a United shirt ever again, probably. The fact that some of the teammates at United who've won literally nothing in comparison to him have an issue with the standards he sets and the demands he places on them is a them problem. It's not a Ronaldo problem, it's a them problem. They need to meet his standards, not him drop to theirs. Number 3, bounce back ability. He rarely has 2 poor games in a row. He does have the occasional stinker, but it's not usually twice, and he usually comes up with the goods. Whenever he gets criticised, he tends to go on a bit of a run. Whenever he gets, a weight of press against him, he seems to fix it up and go again in the next game. He's shown a willingness to adopt to Rangnick's style of play and become much more pressing. The data has been sensational on him and so different from the Solskjaer regime to the Rangnick regime. And he's adapted his games to become much more involved. Against West Ham, he was dropping in to link the play and doing it absolutely sensationally. I think you're going to see more and more of that. I think his playmaking ability, especially when he's not going to be the one leading the line on the final shoulder, is something that you can really look to utilise. But it's not going to happen overnight. But he'll be there or thereabouts in everything come the end of the season. Number 4, mentor. Now, hasn't necessarily been labelled this, and perhaps isn't as hands-on as maybe someone like Cavani has been. But I think he definitely leads by example. Obviously, we heard what Lee Grant mentioned. Everyone was looking at what Cristiano Ronaldo was eating the first time they stayed in the hotel together. People are questioning him about ice baths and nutrition and training regimes. And that's being a mentor as well. And that's passing on what you know. And that's taking other players around you to the next level and providing a platform where they can learn from. And that's mentorship. Watching how he carries himself, looking at what it requires. Some players in that team, whether that's Alanga, whether that's Diallo, whether that's someone that's not broke into the team yet, whether that's Mabry or Zidane or Mengi, or maybe it's someone that's already established in the first team, whether that's a Rashford, whether that's a Scott McTominay, or even Harry Maguire. They could all learn something from him. And if they all take 1 or 2% from him and it ups their game by 1 or 2%, well, that's exactly what a mentor's meant to do. Number 5, I think he's working his way upstairs. I've got a sneaky suspicion something's going on with his son at Manchester United. It's no accident that his son's just come here to play in the academy for a couple of years. I have a sneaky suspicion he's gone, do you know what? I think the best place for my son to come through might be Manchester United. Maybe that's what he thought in the summer. Maybe he's not thinking that so much no more. but maybe he is. I can see him as a future club ambassador if he's able to stick around in Manchester. I could see him potentially as a future manager of the club, not necessarily immediately, but I certainly think he's going to step into management, and knowing Manchester United, whether it was the right or wrong decision, they would do it. You know, does he want to stick around, learn his coaching badges, take his foot off the gas a little bit in terms of visual presence, and go through the same sort of regime to make himself a good manager? Does he want to do that while his son's sort of rising through the ranks and finding his way in the under-18s? Watch this space. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.